Hello artists! Today we're going to focus our art on one of my favorite characters from a storybook. Can you recognize this character? Yep, you're correct. This is Rainbow Fish. So what you're going to need is a piece of the nice art paper inside your art kit. It's the thicker one. You're going to need a pencil, and then you're going to need either a black colored pencil or a black crayon if you have one. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to press really hard with my pencil so you could see it. But if I were home working on this, I would not press so hard, just in case I make a mistake. So it's a good idea if you can press softer than I do in the video. So in the middle of the paper, actually first I'm holding my paper landscape way, which is horizontal. I am not holding it the tall way, which is vertical. Okay, so I'm going to draw this shape in the middle of my paper, a pretty big one. Do you remember this geometric shape? Correct, it's an oval. So this is going to be the main body of Rainbow Fish. And I'm looking at the cover to Rainbow Fish and what we need to try to draw for the shape. So I'm going to draw this upper shape for the top fin next. Remember, pressing softly with your pencil. And then this shape is more of a triangle. This one was sort of a rectangle-ish attached to the body with a curve. This one's sort of more of a triangle, this bottom fin. And then the back tail. Okay. So now we have the main idea that this looks like a fish. So now I want to divide up the head and the body of Rainbow Fish. So I'm going to turn my paper sideways and I'm going to start drawing this line. See if you remember what it's called. Correct, it's a bumpy line. So this will separate the head and the body of the fish. So if you see a fish swimming in the water, you will only see one of their eyes. The other eye is on the other side. So I'm going to draw one eye in the head. And what shape am I drawing? Geometric shape. You got it. It's a circle. And inside I'm going to draw another circle. We're going to give Rainbow Fish a little eyebrow. Now I'm going to turn my paper sideways again for the mouth. Right on the front here, I'm going to start drawing this shape. Remember this shape? You got it. It's a heart. And then I'm going to carefully erase where the heart overlapped the oval. Now I have Rainbow Fish's mouth. Then the next thing I'm going to do is start thinking about the background. Is Rainbow Fish swimming in the ocean high, or is Rainbow Fish swimming near the ocean floor? I'm going to draw the ocean floor. Some wavy line across the bottom. And then of course we'll do some sea plants, some seaweed, just to fill up some of this space. I'm thinking like an artist on how I can fill the space. And then I also think there's a little bit of a blank area here. I'm going to do a couple circles for some bubbles. Now, to make this really look like Rainbow Fish, I have to add what right here? You got it, some scales. So I'm going to turn my paper sideways again. And I'm going to draw those bumpy lines. So I'm going to go right to this middle bumpy line and go bump to the middle of this one, bump, bump, bump. And then I have to finish this side. So then I'm going to go below. In the middle of this bumpy line, I'm going to do, and I'm making them pretty big. You don't want to make them too tiny because you have to paint inside them later. Yay, that's what we'll be using for some color. Okay? So now I'm going to keep going, bump, 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 bump. A little more space. Bump, bump, until I run out of room. Perfect. Then I'm going to look back at the cover and I see these little wavy lines that are on the fins. So I'm going to do a couple of wavy lines that have two sides. And do a wavy line here, and a few wavy lines on the tail. And then I'm going to remember to sign my work like an artist. I'm going to put my name on the bottom. Now, after you have sketched and drawn rainbow fish, you're going to get your colored pencil or your black crayon. For this, I'd prefer a black crayon. It will get the job done thicker and quicker. But if you don't have a black crayon, you can use a colored pencil. And the reason we're using a black crayon or colored pencil is because what a crayon and colored pencil is made up of is going to be good for our painting. So if we think about it, a crayon is made of wax, and the wax is going to be perfect for when we paint. So you're going to carefully start tracing on top of all your pencil lines. If you see I'm pressing pretty hard, if I press softly like this, it's not going to work. So make sure you're pressing hard on your pencil lines. So you're going to trace all of your pencil lines so that when you're done, it looks like this. I'm going to put my crayon down, and now we're going to get ready to paint. So I'm going to take my watercolor trays. You should have a watercolor kit inside your art kit. Not as big as this one. I think there's 8 colors. And there should be a brush inside there. Okay, that's what we're going to use to work with today. And then you can go in your kitchen, ask a grown-up for a water cup, maybe an empty yogurt cup or some type of cup. The paint will not stain anything, so any cup will work. And I never fill my paint water too high just because I don't want spills. And it might be a good idea to have a paper towel handy. Okay. So now I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to hold my brush like a pencil, and I'm going to start painting. Now the nice thing about watercolor is you don't need a lot of paint. I have a watercolor tray at home that I've had for maybe 5 or 10 years, and it still has colors in it because you really don't use that much water. You don't use that much paint. You use mostly water. So I'm going to pick a color. Let's pick this purple. Get some water on that brush, and I'm going to hold my brush like I hold a pencil and paint inside this scale. Now I'm not going to stop there. I don't want to keep changing the water, cleaning my brush, so I'm going to pick a few spaces to paint those scales this purple color before I change colors. Okay? What is going on is the crayon is keeping the paint inside your space so it doesn't spread everywhere. That's what the crayon outline is for. So you can actually paint a color next to a wet color next to a wet color, and it won't mix together because that black crayon is keeping it safely inside your shape. Okay, so I've done some purple. I'm going to switch colors. So what I want to do is I don't want to get my next color dirty. I'm going to clean my brush. X is at the bottom of the cup. You could check it on your paper towel. See if it's clean. Yep, it is. So now I'm going to pick my next color. I'm going to pick, let's go with this green color. So I'm going to get some water on the brush. I'm going to go right next to the purple where I just painted. Are the colors mixing together? Nope, they're not, because that black crayon is keeping them inside the space. So I'm going to do maybe 5 scales with the green, and then I'll switch. Okay, so I'm not really using that much paint. I'm using a lot of water. Watch this. I'm going to dip in the water. I'm not cleaning my brush, and I still have some on it. So I didn't even need to add more paint. That's how the watercolors are supposed to be used. Okay, now when I'm done, I can clean my brush, X is at the bottom, and switch colors. Now if you want to do the water blue, as often students do, I want to show you how little bit of paint you'll need. Now I know you're probably still going to want to paint here, but when you get to that part where you're doing the water, if I dip my brush in the blue with water, that's a lot of dark paint. I don't need to dip in the paint again. I want to really make sure this paint lasts. So I'm going to dip just one little drip in the water and spread that blue paint. Look how much of the area I covered with just one dip in the blue paint. I wonder how many dips it'll take to color the whole background water space. So now I do need to load up my brush with a little more blue. I put some water on my brush. Oh, too dark again, so I'm going to dip a tiny drop in the water and spread that out. So that's only 2 dips in the paint. And look at how far I've gotten. So you're going to work on painting neatly, holding your brush like you hold a pencil. Sometimes it's better to hold it down. You have more control of the brush when I'm trying to get inside those little spaces. So you're going to paint the whole paper. When you're done, you're going to want to make sure you dry it flat somewhere in a space that nobody will touch it. But I didn't finish mine, but as you can see, I painted this one. I painted the water everywhere. I painted my seaweed, which is now dried. I painted the ocean floor, the scales. I just have to finish Rainbow Fish's face and the back tail, and then I'm done. So I hope you enjoy this lesson on Rainbow Fish, and I hope you use the materials correctly so that you'll have your paints for a long time and a lot of projects to come. Enjoy your painting of Rainbow Fish, artists. Have a great day. Thank you.